Doc Martens were originally designed by Klaus Martens, a German soldier who served in World War II. In 1945, he injured his ankle skiing in the Bavarian Alps. His army boots did not offer the comfort and support needed for him to be able to rest and recuperate. He set about designing a comfortable yet durable and sturdy pair of boots. In 1945, when Hitler was overthrown, people began to loot many of the shops in the major cities in Germany. It was then when Klaus Martens stole leather from a cobbler's and created his newly designed boots with an air-cushioned sole.
The first factory producing Doc Martens was set up with a friend from university, Herbert Funk. However, in the 1960s, Doc Martens were made in Cobblers Lane factory in a small village in Wellingborough, Northamptonshire. When R. Griggs Group Limited painted the rights to Doc Martens in the UK in 1959, other factories in Northamptonshire were licensed to manufacture Doc Martens but needed to pass strict inspections before reaching the high streets. First Doc Martens were manufactured and released in the UK on the 1st of April 1960, hence the name 1460. On the 1st of April 2003, manufacturing closed in Cobblers Lane factory due to falling sales and lack of demand, and moved overseas to China, Japan due to cheap labour, etc. However, in 2007, Cobblers Lane factory reopened and began manufacturing a vintage line of Doc Martens to preserve not only the beauty of the boots, but the story and journey they have taken.
Punk fashion first came about in the mid-1970s. The general punk style consisted of varying mutilated garments. The style suited those with little income and limited cash flow, mainly the young unemployed working class students of the era. The whole style was rebellious and perceived as being unmaterialistic. Dr. Martens became a staple part of the punk style, picked up from the skinheads and born into the new fashion culture, devised to provoke uproar and controversy in an otherwise pop-based culture. Dr. Martens were utilitarian footwear. They served a practical purpose and were therefore seen as being non-commercial and of no material value. The working man's boot. They suited the ethics and genre of punk fashion: empowerment, individuality and freedom. The 1990s saw the rise of Dr. Martens into mainstream culture. They began appearing everywhere. Young fashionable girls of the period started wearing them, for example poster girls and models. They appeared in popular sitcoms such as Friends and 90210. Films like Empire Records featured the boots on the film poster, a classic pair of black DMs worn by Liv Tyler. The boot now symbolises freedom, the power to be individual. The boots are about quality. What you see is what you get. There's just no bullshit with a pair of DMs.
Although the brand's style and theme have stayed generally the same over these 50 years, the surprising shift in its target market, from working class status to youth subcultures, the business has adapted its advertising schemes to fit this specialised market. Deciding whether to follow a route to advertise to these youth cultures could have made or broken Doc Martens' already stable brand, since 80% of their first decade sales were going to housewives over the age of 40. By dramatically changing their marketing approach away from original customers, they could have been at a loss if the new emerging teen market wasn't so vast. However, luckily for them it was, and they did gain from this new market, which is proven by their continual growth even today, generating profits of £19 million in just the last year.
But Dr. Martens has not always been this successful in their marketing strategies. A key example of this was when, in 2007, Dr. Martens fired Saatchi & Saatchi as their advertising agency after they ran a campaign featuring dead rock stars Kurt Cobain, Sid Vicious, Joey Ramone and Joe Strummer wearing their boots in heaven. The campaign caused outrage and were branded distasteful, especially as the identities were used without permission. But, according to Airwear Chief Executive David Suddens, were not commissioned by Dr. Martens. This, as outrageous as it was, brought DMs back into the public eye, leading to a rise in ad campaigns and resulting in the latest ad agency Odd being hired and launching their latest campaign featuring current celebrities wearing their boots. This brought their boots back from the punks and into the mainstream.
In 2010, Doc Martens won 2 fashion awards. At the fashion show in New York City, they won it for most popular men's footwear in latest fashion, and also won an award in Best Country Culture Footwear of their decade. The future of Doc Martens. The future of Doc Martens is keeping up with today's fashion, also keeping their brand's original and hoping they will succeed in that.
Doc Martens were originally designed and targeted at middle-aged German men and women, and has now become an iconic piece of fashion, with celebrities such as Avril Lavigne and models such as Agnes Dean all embracing the practical, hard-wearing look. The classic design of Doc Martens has shifted in style dramatically over its lifespan. Recently celebrating its 50th birthday, it's taken on a modern approach with bold colours and patented designs, a stark contrast to the original 1460 eyelet black boot that we all picture when we think of Doc Martens. I think the future for Doc Martens is unpredictable, starting out for the working classes through to skinheads, mods, punks and glam rockers. It's difficult to say what's in store for them in the future. What we do know is that this brand and that this design has achieved global success, is a household name around the world and will continue its iconic stance in the world of footwear.